In the dusty haze of 1875, where the sun baked the earth like a forgotten loaf in an oven, Eleanor Hayes stepped off the stagecoach in the frontier town of Willow Creek, Montana. Her boots crunched on the gravel, kicking up a cloud of red dirt that clung to her faded blue dress like an unwelcome suitor. At 28, Eleanor was no wide-eyed debutante. Life had etched lines around her eyes, remnants of a childhood spent in the orphanages of Boston, followed by years as a seamstress in a sweatshop where dreams went to die. She had answered an advertisement in the matrimonial news, seeking a husband in the West, a man who promised stability, if not love. But as she scanned the bustling street, lined with saloons, a general store, and a sheriff's office that looked like it had seen better days, no one was there to greet her. Eleanor's heart sank. The letter from Mr. Harlan Whitaker had been brief: need a wife to tend house and help on ranch. Send photo. She had no photo, only a description: plain features, brown hair, sturdy build. Perhaps that was why he hadn't come. Or maybe he'd changed his mind. Whispers from her past echoed in her mind, the orphanage matron calling her unwanted, the factory foreman deeming her unmarriageable. She clutched her carpetbag tighter, its contents meager. A few dresses, a Bible, and a locket with a faded image of a mother she never knew. The stagecoach driver tipped his hat and drove off, leaving her alone in the merciless sun. Willow Creek was a speck on the map, a place where cowboys herded cattle through the streets, and gunfights erupted over card games gone wrong. Eleanor made her way to the boarding house, the only establishment with a sign that read, "Rooms for Ladies." The proprietress, a wiry woman named Mrs. Grady, eyed her suspiciously. "You the mail-order bride?" Heard Whitaker was expectin' one, but he ain't been in town for days. "Ranch troubles, they say." "Troubles?" Eleanor asked, her voice steady despite the knot in her stomach. "Outlaws. Rustlers hittin' the spreads round here. Whitaker's a widower, got a little girl. Folks say he's too gruff for Marine again." Mrs. Grady handed her a key. "Rooms upstairs. Pay in advance." Eleanor spent the afternoon in her room, staring at the peeling wallpaper. She had traveled across the country on a whim, fueled by desperation. Back east, suitors had overlooked her for prettier, younger women. Too old, they'd say, or too plain. The advertisement had seemed like salvation, but now doubt crept in like shadows at dusk. What if no one wanted her here either? As evening fell, the saloon across the street erupted in laughter and piano music. Eleanor ventured out, hunger gnawing at her. The general store was closing, but the owner, a kindly man named Mr. Potts, sold her some bread and cheese. "You lookin' for Whitaker? His ranch is 5 miles north. But careful, roads ain't safe after dark." Determined not to wallow, Eleanor hired a horse from the livery stable the next morning. The beast was a stubborn mare named Bess, but she managed to saddle up and ride out of town. The landscape unfolded like a painting. Rolling hills dotted with sagebrush, distant mountains capped with snow. It was beautiful, yet unforgiving. Her mind wandered to the stories she'd read, tales of pioneers taming the wild, finding love amid hardship. But reality was harsher, the wind whipped her face, and doubts assailed her like prairie storms. The Whitaker ranch appeared on the horizon, a modest cabin with a barn, corral, and a few head of cattle grazing lazily. Smoke curled from the chimney, a sign of life. As she approached, a man emerged from the barn, rifle in hand. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with a weathered face framed by a Stetson hat. His eyes, sharp as a hawk's, narrowed at her. "Who are you?" he barked, his voice rough like gravel under boots. "Eleanor Hayes," she replied, dismounting. "I'm the bride you ordered." Harlan Whitaker lowered the rifle, but his expression remained guarded. "Didn't expect you so soon. Stage was early?" She nodded, forcing a smile. "I hope I'm not intruding." He scratched his beard, glancing at the cabin. Intrudin'? This ain't a tea party. Ranch life's hard. My wife, God rest her, died in childbirth 5 years back. Got a daughter, Lily. She's 4. Needs a woman's touch, but I ain't lookin' for romance. Just help. Eleanor's cheeks flushed. I understand. I'm here to work. He nodded curtly. Stable the horse. Supper's at 6. Inside the cabin, the air smelled of wood smoke and stew. A small girl with blonde curls peeked from behind a door, her blue eyes wide with curiosity. Lily Whitaker was a sprite, dressed in a calico dress smudged with dirt. She clutched a rag doll, whispering to it as if sharing secrets. Eleanor knelt. Hello, Lily. I'm Eleanor. The girl tilted her head. You pretty. Eleanor laughed softly, touched by the innocence. Thank you. What's your doll's name? Rosie. Lily held it out. She needs a mommy too. Harlan cleared his throat. Lily, set the table. Over supper, venison stew and cornbread, Harlan spoke little, his focus on the plate. Eleanor learned he owned 200 acres, raised cattle, and fought off rustlers who plagued the valley. Lost 10 head last month, he grumbled. Sheriff's useless. After the meal, Eleanor washed dishes while Harlan mended a harness. Lily tugged at her skirt. Story time? Eleanor glanced at Harlan, who nodded. She sat by the fire, Lily on her lap, and spun a tale of princesses and dragons. The girls' laughter filled the room, a sound Harlan hadn't heard in years. As Lily drifted to sleep, she whispered, "Can you be my mommy?" Eleanor's heart skipped. "I'd like that very much," she murmured, but doubt lingered. Did Harlan want her? Or was she just a hired hand? The days blurred into a routine. Eleanor cooked, cleaned, mended clothes, and tended the garden. She taught Lily letters using charcoal on slate, and the girl blossomed under her care. Harlan was distant, but fair. Teaching her to ride properly, shoot a rifle. West ain't kind to the weak, he said. Yet, whispers of rejection haunted her. In town for supplies, she overheard women at the store. Whitaker's bride? Plain as a post. Bet he sends her back. A handsome rancher named Jed Carson tipped his hat, flashing a smile. If Harlan don't appreciate you, ma'am, my door's open. Eleanor blushed, but loyalty held her. Back at the ranch, tension brewed. Rustlers struck again, stealing 5 cows. Harlan rode out with neighbors, leaving Eleanor and Lily alone. That night, as thunder rumbled, Lily clung to her. Scared of booms. Eleanor held her close. I'll protect you. Harlan returned bruised, frustration etched on his face. Caught one, young kid. Said they're led by Black Jack Malone, holed up in the canyons. Black Jack? Eleanor asked. The outlaw from the posters? I mean as a rattler. Wants to drive us small ranchers out. As weeks passed, Eleanor's bond with Lily deepened. They picked wildflowers, baked pies, and shared secrets. One afternoon, while Harlan fixed fences, Lily confided, "Papa sad since Mama gone. You make him smile." Eleanor glanced at Harlan, sweat glistening on his brow. He caught her eye, and for a moment, something softened in his gaze. But he turned away, burying emotions like seeds in soil. Trouble escalated when Jed Carson visited, ostensibly to discuss cattle. His eyes lingered on Eleanor. "Harlan, you're a fool if you let this lady slip away." Harlan's jaw tightened. "Mind your business, Jed." That night, Eleanor confronted him. "Do you want me here? Or am I just convenient?" He sighed, staring at the fire. "Sarah, my wife, was everything. When she died, part of me did too. But you're good for Lily. And maybe, for me. It was a crack in his armor, but before she could respond, gunshots echoed outside. Rustlers. Harlan grabbed his rifle, barking, "Stay inside." Eleanor barred the door, heart pounding. Lily whimpered. Through the window, she saw shadows, men on horseback, driving cattle away. Harlan fired, dropping one. But more came, torches lit, setting the barn ablaze. "No!" Eleanor cried. She couldn't stay put. Grabbing the shotgun, she burst out, firing into the night. A bullet whizzed past her ear. Harlan shouted, "Get back!" But she stood firm, reloading. One rustler charged. She aimed true, hitting his shoulder. He fell from his horse. The others scattered as neighbors arrived, drawn by the shots. In the chaos, Black Jack Malone himself appeared, a scar-faced brute on a black stallion. "This land's mine, Whitaker." Harlan tackled him, fists flying. Eleanor rushed to help, but a rustler grabbed her. She elbowed him, breaking free, and bashed him with the shotgun butt. The fight ended with Malone subdued, tied up for the sheriff. The barn smoldered, but the house was safe. As dawn broke, Harlan looked at Eleanor, bloodied but unbowed. "You saved us." She shook her head. "We saved each other." Lily ran out, hugging them both. "Mommy. Papa." In that moment, Eleanor knew she was wanted, not as a bride of convenience, but as family. But the story wasn't over. Malone's gang vowed revenge, escaping jail with inside help. Whispers in town pointed to Jed Carson as a traitor, jealous of Harlan and coveting his land. Eleanor, now integral to the ranch, helped fortify defenses. She learned to track, scout, her eastern softness giving way to western grit. Lily tagged along, learning too, her whispers turning to declarations, "You're my mommy now." One stormy night, scouts reported Malone's approach. Harlan gathered men, but Eleanor insisted on joining. "This is my home too." The ambush came at Devil's Canyon, a narrow pass where echoes amplified every shot. Malone's gang charged, guns blazing. Harlan's posse fired back, picking them off. Eleanor, hidden on a ridge, sniped with precision, her hands steady. Malone spotted her, riding up. "You. The bride." He aimed, but she fired first, grazing his arm. He reared back, horse bucking. Harlan finished it, roping Malone and dragging him down. With the gang routed, peace returned. Jed confessed, driven by greed, and faced justice. Back at the ranch, Harlan knelt before Eleanor. "I was a fool. Marry me, for real." Not out of need, but love. Tears welled in her eyes. "Yes." Lily beamed. "My mommy." The wedding was simple, in the town church, with wildflowers and neighbors cheering. Eleanor, in a new dress she sewed herself, walked down the aisle, no longer unwanted. She had found her place in the West, a bride, a mother, a hero. As they rode home, the sun setting in a blaze of orange, Eleanor reflected on her journey. From the shadows of doubt to the light of belonging, all sparked by a little girl's whisper. Years later, as Lily grew, she told the tale to her own children, "Your grandma was the bravest mail-order bride." And it started with a whisper.